Time to think outside the pocket on Saturday Scramble.
I think the Bucks signed their souls away or something.
I look at the Bucks as Augustus Gloop.
Probably really smart, actually, because I write such long.
Yes! Clip that, Riley. Jason said that I'm smart.
I go to the gym to fight people.
That's awesome.
On 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Good morning, everybody. This is the Saturday Scramble. I am Pablo Iglesias, joined alongside Adam Mertz, live from the ESPN Madison studios in downtown at the Everlight Solar Studio 2. It is the post-4th of July episode out here, the July 5th edition. Riley Elk also behind the glass here, once again at the Everlight Solar Studio. Boy, oh boy, is it a nice little recovery Saturday. That is the fun thing about having the 4th of July on a Friday, but also mine was low-key, I'm not going to lie. Gentlemen, how are your 4th of Julys, too, by the way? Mertzy, welcome to the program, too.
Oh, it's so good to be here, and I love the shades
now
for you. Like,
Thank
we're just
you.
going to continue the holiday weekend vibe.
I think we should, as long as Riley Yauk does, our producer here at the Everlight Solar Studio, does not, lack a better way, call me out for being a douche. I don't know.
I don't know if douche is the right word. Very sophisticated with the chains, you could argue.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
we go.
I
Hopefully,
think the chains work better with a monocle, though, or like I feel like you need a pocket watch somewhere.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that
I like
actually
that.
would have been nice. So I will wholeheartedly admit I stole this look from our gold medal champion, our true American hero, Mr. Matt Hamilton. I did see that. I think it was at the American Family Championship, which actually, by the way, we just put out a video too, going around the streets to see if people could name Matt Hamilton. A la Billy on the streets. Can you name this celebrity? Can you tell me what he does? It was really fun. The best answer we got was Triple H. The WWE or WWF wrestler.
I'd take that if I were him.
Dude, seriously, like I think he got Clay Matthews and Triple H, and
Wow.
those were pretty good compliments.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Matt, that was fun. So again, you can check that out on the ESPN Madison social channels. But boy, oh boy, what a recovery type of weekend. Honestly, the week that we had too across the board for Wisconsin sports. We think that it was a chill type of time of the year, and no, absolutely not. The Bucks just going absolutely yabo in free agency once that window opened. We'll talk about that later today here from 10 to noon. Jason Wilde also joining us. State of the Packers is going to be following up. We got a busy Saturday ahead, folks, but let's take a deep breath and breathe right now. We are the appetizer. We are here to chill. We are here to relax and talk about some fun sports. And like I said, it is 10 in the morning, and we're just in recovery mode, but we are enjoying ourselves too. So listen, guys, just traditions, though, and left and right, and trying to get yourself hyped up. I was thinking about this morning, driving over here to the Everlight Solar Studio, and it was a slower morning, I'm not going to lie. It was a low-key 4th of July, but all of a sudden I'm listening to just different songs on Spotify, and then before I know it, DMX rolls up, and then I'm just like, there's nothing better than just DMX, like, barking at you, oh, kind of thing, as you're driving in. And, man, I'm like, I feel like I could run through a brick wall. I'm not going to lie. Probably some of that cold brew coffee is starting to pulsate through my veins. But, listen, I want to ask you guys, if you could pick one artist and one artist only, and also out there, too, to the people listening as well, 844-770-3776 on the Carbless Talking text line. List is more. If you could listen to one artist and one artist only to get yourself hyped up, it doesn't have to be in the morning. It could be whatever. It could be going to the gym. It could be doing all these things. Who is that one artist and you are listening to get yourself motivated for whatever it is? Doesn't matter what the situation is. Go.
I went old school, and I went back to like the roots and going back to football days and whatnot in high school, and it was Metallica for me. It was like you jam that in the weight room, you jam that before the game, just kind of like lay on the bench and get yourself fired up for some football contact.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So, yeah, that's good stuff. Riley, I thought you had a controversial pick, but who are you riding with?
You know, I might have to go with Creed. For being honest.
Creed or Nickelback, Riley?
Yeah.
No,
Either or.
we're not. No, not Nickelback, man. Not Nickelback, please.
I'm 6 feet from the
See, there we
edge,
go.
and I'm thinking.
There's
See, no,
nothing more-
I think Creed would probably be better to like
Yeah.
fire me up in the morning with arms wide open.
Please don't stay.
Yeah.
Let me say.
Like that. Exactly.
This has karaoke possibilities, Pablo.
With
That has karaoke
Yeah,
possibilities.
Adam, this isn't actually, full disclosure, this isn't the first time we've done this on this show before.
it.
So,
Baby, 6 feet ain't so far down.
yeah, so I feel like even though it's like maybe a little more mellow,
Yeah.
it just, you lock in. You hear
Yeah.
Creed or Nickelback, it's like, yeah.
Well, it's like
I'm
perfect.
ready to go.
Their crescendo is so perfect because it's that
Right.
slow build up,
Build,
and then
build,
it's like,
build.
yeah, because it's we talked about this. You hear this in the open too. Riley loves to go to the gym to fight people, essentially over at his mixed martial arts. I'm a CrossFitter. I love to lift. When you hear that slow ascension, and it's like you just build up. Like every hype video that you watch, you are all of a sudden in that hype video. You are moving in slow motion. You are doing whatever it is your move is from there. That's just like the peak moment, I feel like, and it's so cool and it's electric. It is absolutely electric.
Yeah, we already have some input actually on the YouTube
Oh,
chat
let's
from
see.
Evan Malone. He said Madison Malone for sure. I don't know if there's a relation there. Check her out. New album Milk and Honey is really good. Produced by One Republic's producer.
Ooh.
So, something for the fans out there to check out.
If I brought up this name, I want to see if either of you guys know Hoodie Allen. You guys know Hoodie Allen?
No.
Okay, so all right, this is gonna show my bridging the gap age.
Bring it. Bring
here.
it.
Hoodie Allen, he was big when I was in college, and No Interruption was the big song. He just released something, so the Jesse McCartney song, the oh gosh, what is Pretty Face? I can't. Beautiful Soul. So it's like, I don't want another pretty face. You guys are getting my pipes like right off the bat. I don't want
Someone's
just
warmed up this
anyone
morning.
hold. I don't want my love to go to waste. So he did that song, if you guys have heard that one, and he sampled it. So Hoodie Allen's back. I don't know if there's a clean version that we could play. We're definitely giving them some free pub out here. But I'll tag him on this. Riley, we got to clip this for social and see if Hoodie Allen gives us, some type of shout out
All
for
right.
shouting him out for
Will
free.
do.
But if we do have Pretty Face, the clean version, we could maybe we'll have that as bump back. But it's just kind of cool, like where that's. I have no idea where we're going with this, to be totally honest.
So I have
And-
a question for
Yeah.
you
Yes.
guys.
Yes.
Clearly, we needed some hype music this morning because it was 4th of July yesterday. A little tired, maybe a little intoxicated last night. So tired.
tired but
Air
wired.
quotes. Air quotes.
Exactly.
We're tired but wired.
So yesterday, I went home to Milton to watch the fireworks with my family and some family friends. And for the first time ever this year, Milton had a drone show to go along with the fireworks. They were multicolored. They go in different patterns if you're unfamiliar. Like, they'd be red, white, and blue, USA. Then it'd go to the American flag. Then it'd be a bald eagle. Then it was the Milton Redhawks logo. Then Happy 4th of July. It was crazy. It was awesome. We were all totally locked in. And now, I would argue, and this is all while there's some fireworks going on at the same time, I think fireworks plus a drone show blows just fireworks out of the water. I wouldn't want just a drone show. I want the fireworks, but the drone show included with the fireworks, way better than just fireworks.
So you're going to have a hard time going back,
Yeah.
is what you're saying.
If they don't continue to have the drone show,
Yeah.
I will be disappointed.
Yeah. And I've heard before, like, I live out in Mount Horeb. We have a big thing July 3rd on the golf course out there, and they have bands and whatnot. It's a big community event. And I love it when music is playing. Like, if a band is playing, there's one of my buddies used to play Star Spangled Banner, like Hendrix style,
Nice.
as the fireworks
man.
are going. And that's awesome, too. But, yeah, you need, like, all these points of entry, a sensory overload to really feel the full experience. That's what I'm hearing you got in Milton with the drone show.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
I feel like, because unless it's like it's orchestrated together, like if it's fireworks are going off like
Choreographed.
if it's choreographed, that's sweet. But also I feel like that there's a hazard by launching fireworks right by drones flying in the sky. You
Maybe
gotta-
a little bit.
Yeah,
They
well,
seem to be layered well. Like the drones were in front of the fireworks.
Right, yeah, I'm not saying the people lighting off the fireworks should be directly next to the person who's controlling the drones. So, I feel like you gotta go big. Or if anything, if I'm going one or the other, maybe it feels like the drone show almost is like way cooler now versus fireworks. I don't know. I feel like the 4th of July tradition, but I do. See, I'm in between at this one because I haven't experienced it to that level, and that's still sweet. Because I was on the Damn Sports Show earlier this past week with Wally Lukaczynski, and we were talking about just the most iconic, at least for me, the most iconic movie scene of all time is The Sandlot. And when it's the night game, and when they like light off the fireworks, and you know, it's you just hear Smalls' narration voice. There was only one night game a year. And that's just like makes you feel like a kid. It makes you feel nostalgic, and it makes you like love the fireworks at night.
Yeah.
So
I think there's something to the explosion, the noise, the uniqueness of each firework that I really like that you don't get if it was literally just silent drones buzzing around and switching patterns. So that's why I think you need both. But the drone show added an extra oomph that I think this modern culture needed.
Do you know what? I love that's like a statement for our times, Riley.
What our modern culture needs. What the people need today.
This is what Gen Z wants in their fireworks shows, their 4th of Julys.
So we were at friend's house last night who have a pool kind of right outside of Verona. And what amazed me was it was like surround sound fireworks, like personal fireworks going off, but these were like professional caliber shows. And I was thinking to myself, there's probably 3 of them, and it was all within earshot, and it felt like we had incoming mortars or something. It was that close. Like, when did this get so accessible in Wisconsin and so unpoliced? It used to be like you could never light off fireworks more than like sparklers and like little shoot ups, Roman candles and things. These were like full-fledged fireworks shows. It was amazing.
Man, oh man, it is definitely amazing. 844-770-3776. Almost like between. Would you rather have like a fireworks show or a drone show? Like, honestly, feels like the conversation here. But we are continuing our tired but wired recovery for post 4th of July show here. Pablo Iglesias, Adam Mertz, Riley Yauk behind the glass here at the Everlight Solo Studio. But again, also recovering, like we said, from a huge week of Milwaukee Bucks moves and a lot of conversation where. I got to ask you guys as we head into the break to think about it some more, and even for you over listening across 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Madison YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app. Are the Milwaukee Bucks the smartest run team recently, that is, within the last, I'd say, decade? Are they the smartest run team within the last decade, give or take, in Wisconsin sports? I'll tell you why I think so. That's coming up next on Saturday Scramble.
Stay tuned. Saturday Scramble continues after this on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Greg Scalzi here for Total Athlete Performance. They're here to provide elite performance training for serious athletes in the Madison area. And there's a new Verona TAP facility open inside of the Verona Athletic Center. Summer speed, agility, and semi-private options are now available at both Verona and Windsor locations, and now offering monthly subscription payment options. Plus, you can download the new Total Athlete Performance app for remote training options all year round. Visit tapwisconsin.com. That's tapwisconsin.com.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Get ready to say goodbye to those bland seltzers at the ballpark. Carbless is proudly Wisconsin-born, crafted by real people. A husband and wife team who wanted better cocktails in a can. They're locally made and blissfully better. Carbless offers a bold, true cocktail flavor that's made for baseball fans. Available in fan-favorite flavors like lemon lime, black raspberry, cranberry, and mango, bringing the craft cocktail bar to your seat. Refreshment that matches the energy of American Family Field is Carbless. Full of flavor, no sugar, and no carbs. Just game day bliss.
I'm very familiar with Gruber Law Offices because they're always out in the community.
Gruber Law Offices are known to be honest, hardworking.
They're always involved in our neighborhoods.
Gruber Law Offices make our community a better place.
They are the best. For nearly 40 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped people throughout Wisconsin. If you're injured, we're here to help. One call, that's all.
Wisconsin would not be the same without Gruber Law Offices.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Pat Costello and I'm Holmes. Go ahead.
So if
Mahomes only wins
That's
one more title. Would we look at it as disappointing?
Stop. Please stop.
Yeah, I would say that's disappointing.
Oh, what?
I would say that's disappointing.
Because he's
based
on
on
a
how
great
he
trajectory.
based on how he started, that will be disappointing. I'm just gonna call it what it is. It'd be disappointing.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9 on 100.5 ESPN.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how to save money and save the planet. It's simple. Ditch your energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar. While electricity prices keep rising, Everlight Solar will give you the chance to take ownership of your power while also reducing your carbon footprint. As a local company based out of Madison, they'll be there with you every step of the way as you make the switch to solar. To learn more about how you can save money and save the planet, go to everlightsolar.com.
For official rules and more information about every contest on 100.5 ESPN, visit ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN app.
You're listening to Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Really? Why?
Does this not get you fired up?
Man, Nickelback has come full circle.
I'm on the Creed train. I'm on the Creed train 100%. Call me a hater. 844-770-3776. Call in to call me a hater on Nickelback. Pablo Iglesias, Adam Mertz here. This is the Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN, live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison. Riley Yauk behind the glass, choosing violence, putting Nickelback on the way in here. And honestly, I'll choose violence too. And like I said, teasing into this segment is that I believe, honestly, that the Milwaukee Bucks are doing things in terms of a win now mentality. The Bucks are doing everything that they can based off of how we saw this week. Because, listen, the two moves, we don't know exactly what Miles Turner is going to produce. We know that by far, too, this is not the end for the Milwaukee Bucks in terms of what they're going to do this offseason. They still need to figure out who their guard is going to be, because when you waive Damian Lillard, you don't have him this season, but still, you need to fill that gap. The Bucks, to me, if I look compared to the Packers and the Brewers and how they've gone about business, everybody has produced a good postseason product, but when it comes down to it, I think I'm going with John Horst and the Milwaukee Bucks for taking swing after swing, because let's look at it. If I talk about all three of those teams, who has the most recent championship? It's the Milwaukee Bucks. So I want to ask you guys what you think in terms of, because let's look at this. Even though the Packers have a consistent track record, they've made it to the postseason. They've always been in the picture. They've always been this team that's, just known to be known as Title Town, essentially. But yet, the Milwaukee Bucks, like I said, they have that championship. They got after it and got Drew Holiday that season. It didn't work with Damian Lillard, unfortunately, but you know what? At the end of the day, they're still taking swings. And this is the same type of conversation that we've had, too, with should Brian Gutekunst and even Mark Anastasio and Matt Arnold, should they have been making the moves? Should they have been making better moves for the Milwaukee Brewers to get that star? So I don't know. What's your thoughts right now, Mertzy? What are you thinking?
Yeah, so I love this topic because there's a lot to sink into here. As you said, there's different ways to get this done at the professional sports level, and all of those are dealing with a lot different financial circumstances. You think about MLB with no salary cap, just Wild West, and how you're supposed to operate and compete against the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Astros even at this point. So everyone's dealing with different constraints. Where I like what the Bucks are doing is, like you said, they recognize, and I just think this is a little bit of situational leadership, situational ownership, that they have something in Giannis that the other two franchises do not, which is one of the best players of all time in that sport. And you maximize that. And I would say not only is he one of the best players of all time, one of the best people of all time in that sport, he's someone who you feel confident hanging your hat on. He's not going to cause problems. He's total positive influence. He's like emblematic of what Milwaukee likes. And he's a guy who flourishes in a small market like Milwaukee, where people will leave him alone. They'll respect him, and it's not this media frenzy where he's going to get chewed into. So, like, long way of backing around to absolutely you pin all your hopes on this guy. My one thing about Horst and how they've done things, and I was talking to you guys about this off air, is that, to borrow from Creed, he's created his own prison.
Oh, there we go. One last breath. This does feel like the one last breath kind of season, though. It really does for the Milwaukee Bucks, and we can't even guarantee that Giannis for sure. Like, this is the move that's going to keep him. I know that there's been a lot of reports, and Giannis is always going to be. Unless, like, you really just get to them, and it wasn't even, like, what was it, a couple seasons ago when they got bounced by Miami in the first round of that no season should be seen as a failure. And It wasn't that he was going after that specific reporter, but it was more of just that you really got to get under Giannis's skin to, like, say something. So Giannis, I think, is always and continues to be a guy who's going to keep it close to his chest. But it does make you wonder, like, did he go out and recruit Miles Turner? Did he not sign off on the Damian Lillard? I just kind of feel like that what reports, not to throw down and say, like, these reports are, like, whatever. But, you got to think about, like, I don't know, like, what can we really believe until, like, Giannis actually says it?
Well, and think about it. Like, there's PR and everything. And he's a sharp cookie.
Yes.
I mean, why wouldn't you take that opportunity to say, I'm really disappointed that, my guy is gone or this guy's gone or whatever it is, because you want to preserve those relationships and you don't want to burn that. But that's different than a conversation behind closed door, objective conversation about what you need. And I think that's also a good distinction of why players are players and why management's management. Like, management has to make hard decisions sometimes and then maybe talk the player into the reasons for it. They're seeing things differently. They're understanding the big picture differently, and it's not as personal for them. It has to be a business. And so I always appreciate that when you have that divide, even for a superstar. Like, you're consulted and you're involved, but in the end, the D is with ownership.
Yeah. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talking text line. List is more. Pablo Iglesias here with Adam Mertz on the Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN. We want to know from you, too, whether you're listening and want to call, talk, text in, or if you want to drop the comments, too, in the ESPN Madison YouTube channel chat. Would you rather operate like the Packers and Brewers or the Milwaukee Bucks? Because, honestly, I would rather, because we talk about this especially, and yes, the Brewers have some more monetary restraints, unfortunately. But if you're looking at the Packers, I'm not saying that they're like swimming in it either with cap space, but the way that they're more of a conservative approach of just like, hey, develop the stars. And they've developed some good stars, don't get me wrong. They have that good track record. But also it's just like the Packers have never really been in that conversation outside of the rumor mill for stars. So I'm not saying reinvent the wheel, but sometimes it does feel like that you have to go take a big swing like the Bucks are doing. So I'm almost siding, and again, it doesn't feel like it's perfect business, but it's the business that I'm kind of all in. Like, if you know you have the opportunity to take advantage of that window, how can you guarantee that this farm, I'm a diehard White Sox fan, and we were always talking about
you have to be at this point. And you're dying a lot.
Yes, it's dying hard. That is for sure. I'm living close to that. But I look at the 2020-2021 season when the farm was built, and it's like, this is the team. Yeah. This is the good team, and it all just fell flat.
Yep.
Looking at the 2016 Chicago Cubs, though, too, and comparing that when they rent out Aroldis Chapman for the final 3 months, you have to sometimes take a swing and know, even if you got some good capital, if you have the opportunity to get a star that's going to turn things around for you like that, even in a short frame, I think you have to do it because we know how good the Packers are. We know how good and competitive they can be. And the question is, whether it's offensively or defensively, I say more offensively for Jordan Love, can you provide a really good pass-catching star for this guy? And why why not go for it, even if it's a rental situation? Riley Yauk, too, I want to know what you're thinking. I know you're a diehard Green Bay Packer guy.
You know, I'm thinking about this. I've been thinking about this, honestly, more from a Brewers perspective, personally. And I never thought anyone would get me to be able to defend Mark Atanasio and his approach.
I like the setup.
To how the Brewers run their business. But I think it is on a team-by-team basis, sort of. But especially in baseball, if you can make it to the playoffs, you can have a run like the Washington Nationals did a few years ago, like the Arizona Diamondbacks did a couple of years ago, and make a run to either winning or at least to a World Series, because baseball is just weird like that. Once you get to the playoffs, it's kind of a crapshoot. So if you're Mark Atanasio and Matt Arnold and the Brewers front office, you need to get them to the playoffs. And then from there, you just kind of hope everything falls into place, and occasionally go for a big swing like CC Sabathia, but ultimately you can never end up like the Rockies and the White Sox are right now. You just can't let it get to that point because it's so hard to crawl your way out of the abyss rather than maintaining the status quo of being a good playoff team.
Yeah, and that's totally fair. And the reality is that Atanasio is extended as maybe not as far as he can, but he would be over-leveraged if he was going to go in on one of these big deals. Is that worth it to him? You would love to think that at some point he sees that opportunity there. And I think it kills a lot of Brewers fans when you had that triumvirate of pitchers, of young, talented pitchers, and they didn't pull the trigger at some point. One of those years, sort of like where I feel the Bucks are, would this have happened without the Achilles injury to Halliburton? If Tatum weren't hurt, would Horst have had this same level of aggressiveness? No, he saw the window of opportunity, said not only can we improve, but we can just tear apart one of our key rivals. And he took that opportunity, and I feel like the Brewers missed that. Like they never took that next step after 2018.
If anything, the Cubs did it to the Brewers, unfortunately, by stealing Craig Counsell. I mean, it's now look at it.
I'm fine with that.
We'll see.
I love Pat Murphy.
The Cubs are one of the best teams in the National League.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with Craig Counsell.
That's talent.
They bought Kyle Tucker.
That's talent.
And they got lucky that PCA happened to develop into what looks to be a phenom-type talent.
Listen,
that has nothing to do with
I'm not
Craig.
trying to be a
Cubs lover.
truther.
Cubs lover.
What?
Yeah.
Don't do that to me. I'm from the south side of Chicago. You know
Chicago
sacrilegious
sympathizer.
No, you see how sacrilegious that is if you call me a Cubs sympathizer? I don't know for everybody listening to Milwaukee. That's like basically I'm trying to think what. That's like saying like I just bleed Minnesota colors out here in
Also
Madison,
gross.
Wisconsin. Don't do that to me.
Even more disgusting.
Exactly. I've lived in Wisconsin for 4 years, and I think I've adopted the hatred for Minnesota, and especially, you know what, PJ Fleck too, man, and he's just so cheesy.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Good.
Thank you.
Love having you on our side on that one.
I'm an ally for that one. But
See, but going back to the Brewers for 1 sec here.
Yeah.
Though, while I think the approach is correct and they will need the ball to bounce their way if they want to win a World Series, like the Bucks, they got their championship because Kevin Durant's foot is massive.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only.
He wore too big of shoes that day.
Exactly. They're going to need to get some breaks. But if they don't end up winning a championship and Yelich phases out, Churio doesn't pan out, The Miz doesn't pan, like it doesn't work, that 2018 to 2020-ish, 2021 run, like it's going to be a massive, massive failure for the Milwaukee Brewers. You need a championship out of it.
See that's where I kind of come in too with the long-term moves at the Bucks, and not even just John Horst, but the Bucks in general. The moves that they made to eventually build up that 2020-2021 championship team was to go out and get Drew Holiday. Was to go out and even before Mr. Bucks and Six, Brandon Jennings, to trade him for Chris Middleton.
Yeah.
Those were pieces, and I feel like that the move that the Bucks did this offseason is something that I believe that they should have done right after they won the championship. As much as I think that getting Damian Lillard was great, I felt like that you needed to build around Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis, and that's it. It's good. The nice thing about this, and maybe we'll get some sound throughout the course of the show from our Bucks special that we had from the reaction, was that Justin Garcia, you can hear him on the Bucks Radio Network, compared this to you're getting a younger Brooke Lopez and Miles Turner. And I wholeheartedly agree. As much as I love Brooke Lopez and Pat Connaughton and Bobby Portis, I do feel like that those guys, to an extent, not 100%, but are replaceable guys. And it sucks because it's also they're great people. They've done a lot for the community. But I also look at this from the other side, too, of just, you know what, from the business side, you can't keep everybody. And that's just the toughest thing of keeping that championship nucleus and what goes and what's got to stay.
And where I look at this, and I love where you're headed, my complaint with the Bucks, basically since the beginning of this run, is that they've played old as much as they've been old. It's a team that was not overly athletic in most cases, was aging out, and you were wondering if they were going to be trapped in that. And they've managed to overhaul that roster, and they have a bunch of really good young talent. You see how much they can come along and how quickly, and I think that'll be key to seeing how far this goes. But they have managed to flip that entirely. And I think about how the Pacers are running circles around them this year, just with the athleticism on the court at all 5 positions.
Yeah.
I feel like the Bucks have turned the tide that way.
Yeah, I am curious to see how Miles Turner makes them a stretch team. They're going to be fun. But again, the reason why we bring this up, too, and we have also on the Cardless Talk and text line, 844-770-3776 from 608 number. Make sure you put your name in. Otherwise, we're just going to call you 608 number. But thank you, Riley, for being creative here on our ESPN Madison YouTube stream. The Bucks can't be too smart. They only have one appearance NBA Finals and nothing like rhythm and booms for coronation. So you know what? That's a fair point there because, again, yes, I have the, we'll say, green tinted lenses for the Milwaukee Bucks because they have that championship, because they have the Larry O'Brien. And the Packers, yes, they also have that consistent rhythm. I just feel like that, again, maybe it's just the star power argument, and it's like, what would you rather have? Would you at least have that one championship, or would you be content knowing that you're always going to be in the mix, and it's just hoping for the best and hoping that what you have and what you started with for the most part is going to get you to that championship level. You don't need to be the top dog, but you just need to be a dog in the race. And I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like that you always want to shoot to be top dog. You always want to be like at the top of the food chain. Like what we said, even for the Badgers too, to an extent. If you're at the top of the food chain and you're a lion and you're getting scared away by field mice, then there's a problem. There's a problem there. You got to roar. You got to know where you're at. You got to admit where you're at. So I think the Packers are that lion. The Packers are that lion, and yet they're like kind of being intimidated a little bit by again, that's just where I feel like they're at in the jungle.
And you're taking me into a space where I'm thinking about fan expectations and where they set the bar. And I feel like the Brewers, people understand the financial limitations, and so they're almost kind of lulled to sleep on that and willing to accept just getting in there, just being competitive. Packers fans, I feel like, are so loyal to the team that no one ever really gets raked over the coals, over decisions. As long as you're putting forth a pretty good product, people feel good about it and almost get kind of lulled a little bit to sleep of like, why aren't the Packers giving this a shot at some point in time? It's just a moneymaker. It's like the Cubs were for so many years where they knew people would keep turning out. We're
don't
so
point at
loyal.
me as like a Cubs fan.
No.
Please don't.
Please
don't do this. Don't do this. Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, like, what are the expectations? What will people be satisfied by? And I think that people are probably too passive in what they expect from the Packers.
What will the Packers be this upcoming season? That is a big question. Definitely an exciting season for the Green Bay Packers. Always feels like it is. But we will, instead of just keep the speculation going, we've got our expert on the other side. Mr. Jason Wilde will be joining us per his usual appearances on the Saturday Scramble. Pablo Iglesias, Adam Mertz, Riley Yauch behind the glass at the Everlight Solar Studio. This is the Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN.
Stay tuned. Saturday Scramble continues after this on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't friendly. The trash talk, next level. And the stakes, those are crystal clear. Cheers! With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer.
Starion Bank redefines local banking in Madison. As a community bank with a commitment to Dane County, experience a banking relationship where your goals are our priority. Enjoy competitive deposit and loan rates and a partnership that thrives on local engagement and support. Starion Bank is more than a full-service financial institution. It's a community pillar dedicated to your prosperity. Visit one of our convenient branches in Middleton, Monona, or Sun Prairie. Starion Bank, offering banking, lending, mortgage, and cash management.
Looking to join an international quality golf club right here in Madison? Discover TPC Wisconsin, an instant classic in the heart of the Midwest. With a course co-designed by Steve Stricker and PGA Tour Designs, it's the 13th and newest TPC Network golf club in the world. Other high-quality amenities include a short game practice area, athletic performance center, and meeting and dining facilities, plus membership benefits that reach around the globe. Schedule a tour at tpcwisconsin.com and start your journey to a lifetime of priceless golf.
My overall experience with Gruber Law Offices has been phenomenal.
The treatment was excellent.
They will be supportive of you. They will listen to you.
It was a great experience knowing that I had people to help me.
I know I could count on them to do what I needed to get done.
Experience with Gruber was great.
They gave me my life back.
It was amazing.
He gets results.
We know how to win. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Gruber Law Offices had my best interests at heart.
An unsuspecting driver at a Milwaukee barbershop.
I got an apprentice here shadowing me. I'm gonna put this hot towel on, man. About a good 3 minutes, all right?
The apprentice is Donald Driver.
So when you come here, you drive?
Yes.
Your car got seatbelts?
Yeah.
You wear them?
No.
Okay, but why not?
I don't want to.
But do you know you can get a ticket for that? I'm gonna give you a ticket. Bet you wish you buckle up now.
Oh my God. Donald Driver can't always be there to remind you.
Take it, click it. There we go. Click it or ticket.
And let's reduce fatalities on Wisconsin roadways. Sponsored by Wisconsin DOT.
This is our crew.
The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Every pitch, every strike, every hit.
Fly ball right field. Hit a ton. We're tied.
Hear the call of every Milwaukee Brewers game this season on 100.5 ESPN.
Back at the track. Get up. Get up. Get out of here. Gone.
Madison's new home for Milwaukee Brewers baseball. 100.5 ESPN.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love, with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
You're listening to Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. He knows it all about the green and gold.
Well, first of all, knows it all is definitely not accurate.
Well, he still knows a lot more than we do.
And I'm fine with that. I don't really like to be the center of attention like Riley does.
It's Jason Wilde on Saturday Scramble.
I need some good news. Send me sipping on cold truth. Nobody knows what I'm going.
Arguably one of the most soothing, relaxing, that great intro. I think that might be the first time I've heard Big Voice Pete officially welcome in our guest. He knows it all, no matter what the intro says. And
We've had that intro for like a month now.
No, we haven't, have we?
Yes, we have. Jason, can you confirm?
Oh, shoot.
I can confirm. Glad to know that Pablo's listening to the show when he's on.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
It's been quite a month for me. I need some good news anyway from Mr. Jason Wilde. He is joining us here on the Saturday Scramble. Jason, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. We will put that off to the side. I also have my sunglasses back on, too, looking like a pro wrestler. If you could see here on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. We got to figure out what my wrestling name is. But enough about me. Good morning, Jason. How are we doing today?
Well, I'm great. If the rumors are true that Adam Mertz is your co-host today, I need to know when his birthday is because there's a chance we might finally have someone on the Saturday Scramble older than me, but I think it's close.
Me and Mr. Wilde. Mr. Wilde and I go back just a couple of years. September 10th, 72.
Oh, see, I still got you.
That's
so Mertz and I worked together at the Badger Herald. We worked together at the Cap Times. I've known him for, let's see, if we go back to what, like 92,
Yeah.
93-ish?
Yeah.
I've known Mertz for more of my life than I've not known Mertz. So he takes up a pretty big chunk of my history.
Great to be back on with you.
Yeah, this is amazing. I don't check the schedule, so I had no idea it was going to be you. What a highlight.
Man, oh, man. Well, we always love having you on here, Jason. You can hear him weekdays from 9 to noon here on 100.5 ESPN on Wilde and Tausch. But a week off as well, or a few days off for you, Wilde. What were you doing on vacation this week?
All right, let's make sure you don't make me out to be Jesse, who takes off all the time.
Well, no. So to defend you as well, didn't you bring up, like, weren't you the last one of the group to figure out when you could take vacation time to pull back the curtain of the Wilde and Tausch trio?
That is fair. Yes. So basically, I had to get permission from Jesse on which days I could take off. So yes, and it's great too because it's these random days. Like I took 2 days off, and then obviously we had the 4th of July yesterday. Next week I'm taking like 2 days off in the middle of the week. Then the following week I'm going to be in Madison for Sydney's going to be in the UW volleyball camps.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to that. But then I'm going to, I think, do the show on Friday before we head back home. So it's going to be a fun week with a few days off sprinkled in.
Fantastic. Well, we know that you're still hard at work, too, putting together the top 20 Packers should be what's the most impactful Packers of 2025, or who you believe so far the list. We've got Luke Musgrave at 20, Matthew Golden at 19, and Evan Williams at 18 so far as the top 20 list. You could also read that at Jason's list as it comes out over the next few weeks, or next couple weeks rather, on channel3000.com. Luke Musgrave, though, is a really interesting one. Matthew Golden makes sense, at least in my eyes, and Evan Williams. You know what? I want to point out real quick, Evan Williams, like why at 18, why you feel like that, at least, Jason, let's go back, actually. Let's circle and talk about these three guys, why you feel like it was appropriate for 2019-18. Sorry, I'm just like running in circles right now.
You are. Wait, it's a good thing you didn't even notice 17 and 16 are up.
Oh, 17
really
and 16 are up. Oh, my goodness.
So Pablo, nothing but love, buddy. So let's kind of work our way up. I think Luke Musgrave is obviously, and look, these are just opinions, and more importantly, I view them as jumping off points for conversations and maybe a little bit of debate. So I don't take this. This is not the Bill of Rights. Like, I'm not power ranking amendments here, right? This is just something to talk about as we ramp up to training camp and the first practice on July 23rd. But, Matt LaFleur definitely wants to run more two tight end sets, and Luke Musgrave has shown flashes in his first 2 years that he can be a really impactful player. But he lacerated his kidney during his rookie year, which not only derailed his season, but opened the door for Tucker Kraft to emerge as their number one tight end. They were both in the same draft class. Tucker Kraft was the third-round pick. Luke was the second-round pick. And then last year he has this ankle injury that wipes out 10 games of his season. So the Packers are really hopeful that if he's healthy, they've got a really good 1-2 punch. It's just ever since they drafted those two guys, they just haven't been able to stay on the field together. So they're hopeful that this year is that year. That's why he made the list there. I did put Matthew Golden a little low in some people's opinions, in part because I wanted people to have reason to push back on it. But if you look at where most rookie wide receivers through history that the Packers have drafted in the first 3 rounds, going back to the previous last first-round pick at wide receiver, Javon Walker, the production is not very high. I think the outlier is Jaden Reed in 2023, only because they had so many young receivers that there was no clear-cut number one. Whether or not that helps Golden have 60-some catches or 1,000 yards, I still think that there's some pretty darn good receivers with more experience than him. And then Evan Williams, to answer your actual question, look, we all know Xavier McKinney is one of their best players. He's going to be very high on this list. But I think that, when I look at Evan Williams, and again, this is what happens when you've covered the team for a long time, I see another player who wound up being a multi-time Pro Bowl player, unfortunately for the Packers. It was with somebody else, and that was Micah Hyde, who they allowed to walk in free agency, and he ended up being a really, really good player in Buffalo. And it's funny because when I actually brought it up to Evan last season, he said that he watched old tapes or old video of Micah Hyde because that's the type of player he wanted to be. And so I reached out to Micah and got his reaction to that. But my point is that when Micah Hyde was on the field, guys would always say, that guy's a football player, which I think is the ultimate compliment. And Evan Williams is cut from that same cloth. But he missed 4 games last season with various injuries. They have some other safeties that are options for them if he misses time. But it was clear from Matt LaFleur at the minicamp that they want him to make sure he is taking the proper precautions to stay on the field. Because if he does, they feel really good about what he can allow Xavier McKinney to do, because they're more interchangeable than they are when they have Javon Bullard out there or Catano, Ladapo, or Zane Anderson.
Hey, Jason, you said something there about Micah Hyde that just got me thinking, because of your extensive knowledge, history of the Packers. Where does he rank in terms of the guys that they've let walk that really sticks with you the most?
Yeah, it's got to be one of the worst decisions they made, right? I mean, look, I think there's at least one that comes before that. In terms of guys that, reach their free agency, now obviously they've cut guys. Some of them maybe they shouldn't have. They lowballed Jordy Nelson. I still think it was a mistake to move on from Devontae Adams. I maintain that. I don't think they have the 2022 season they did had they kept him. But Mike is pretty high up there. The guy that I go back even farther into the archives, though, the Packers, both these times they had to choose. They chose to re-sign Morgan Burnett instead of re-signing Micah Hyde. That was a mistake.
Yep.
They chose to re-sign Cletius Hunt instead of Vonnie Holliday. Vonnie Holliday played 15 years in the league, which is almost unheard of as a defensive lineman. I mean, he was a great locker room guy. He was their first-round pick in 1998. And Cletius Hunt was, once he got paid and then stopped paying his taxes in the state, he had some real problems. So that was a colossal blunder. There's plenty of those throughout history, but those are the two that spring to mind.
Talking with Jason Wilde. Again, you can hear him across ESPN Wisconsin and also here, of course, on 100.5 ESPN. Weekdays, 9 to noon on Wilde and Tausch, although the next couple weeks are going to be a little scattered based off of when you hear him throughout July. We're talking with him about his most important Packers of 2025. Again, you can read that on channel3000.com. He so far has, he pointed out my blunder, which, hey, thanks for keeping me honest, Jason. So far of his top 20 list.
I wouldn't say it's a blunder. I don't expect you to go to the website every day. You're a busy guy. You got a lot of responsibilities.
Thank you.
It's not a blunder. I just wanted to make sure that people at some point go and read about Brandon McManus and now Nate Hobbs as well.
Yes. So to riff off, we have Luke Musgrave at 20, Matthew Golden 19, Evan Williams 18, Brandon McManus 17, and Nate Hobbs at 16. So again, you can go read those at channel3000.com. Jason, I'm not sure if you've been enjoying the time off or if you've been tuning in a little bit on the shows, but your co-host, Mark Tauscher, was talking about with Brian Balaga and Jesse when they were holding down the fort earlier this week that we'll see. Maybe this guy's name is on the list, but Christian Watson, yes, he's going to be injured, but I want to hear your thoughts as we have the sound queued up of what Mark Tauscher had to say about Christian Watson and where he thinks he could return this upcoming season or when.
You start just listening and reading the tea leaves here. I don't think Watson's going to miss as much time. I would bet he's playing before Halloween. He's running, he's cutting, and yes, it's different. I get all of that, but he is highly motivated, and I think the Packers, if he proves that he can get out there and do it, he is going to push and push. This isn't going to be one of those, I'm going to wait till I'm 6,000% healthy. Remember when everybody thought Rashawn Gary was going to be out for half the season, and he started practicing at training camp? I don't think that's going to happen, but I think he will be playing before Halloween.
That was once again Mark Tauscher, the Tausch of Wilde and Tausch, weekdays 9 to noon here on 100.5 ESPN. Talking a little bit about the torn ACL that Watson has, but believing that he could come back a lot earlier in the season. Jason, I'm not going to ask you for your medical opinion on when you think he's going to return, but more so, first off, your reaction on that, and secondly, where is Christian Watson at from your perspective as he recovers and tries to get back on that field sooner rather than later?
Well, first of all, 6,000% from Tausch is a very high percentage. Secondly,
yeah, where does that? What does 6,000% look like?
He blew right past 110.
And I love that he gave me grief for pretending to be a doctor on the radio when I said that I would expect him to follow the same timeline that Hawkinson, T.J. Hawkinson, the tight end for the Vikings, followed, who tore his ACL late in the season in 2023, in like late December, and didn't come back until mid-November for the Vikings last year. And now he's got him coming. Tausch loves to use holidays as mileposts, too. He likes to say that rookie quarterbacks, no Frosh play before Thanksgiving Day, and now he's bringing back Christian Watson before Halloween. So I don't know, if he uses like Flag Day and Arbor Day and those types of mileposts, but
find out the number one Packer on Jason's list by Labor Day, something like that. That'll be his big release.
Nice. Well done. Yes, very good. So let's first of all, let's be honest here. Like, neither Tausch nor me nor you guys, none of us are doctors, so we don't know. I do know that even though Dr. McKenzie is starting to work toward retirement, and they have a new doc that's going to take over for him, the Packers are always going to play, in the words of Mike McCarthy, the high side of caution when it comes to injuries. And so while we've all seen the videos on social media of Christian running, we saw him starting to cut now, which obviously is a huge milepost, which it appears he was doing before the 4th of July, if we're going to use holidays as our
milestone holiday.
Those are all incredibly encouraging signs. There's no doubt about it. Tausch also makes a really important point. The dude's in a contract year, so he's highly motivated to get back sooner rather than later. But again, I think the medical staff's job in a lot of instances is to protect players from themselves, right? And so, and I would just liken this, because I don't have any medical experience, nor do I have any high-level coaching experience. But, the girls are both really good athletes, thankful to Paula for her DNA. And Sydney was feeling something weird in her knee a couple of years ago. It turned out she had damage in her growth plate, so we had to shut her down. And she was playing through that pain for a while, and you have to sometimes protect athletes from themselves. Maddie ran a cross-country season against Dr. McKenzie's wishes with a torn meniscus. But we went through the medical process. We made sure, because she wanted to get her letters, she wanted to compete at regionals and all that stuff. But you have to make sure that you're not allowing those people's competitiveness, whether it's them or Christian Watson or, Tausch mentioned Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary's injury was in November of that season, early November. So again, Christian Watson tore his ACL on January 5th. But I just feel like as much as you want them back out there and he wants to be back out there as an athlete and as a competitor with a lot on the line financially, the worst thing you can do is give in to his desire and then have him do something else. And especially Christian Watson, who has the history of hamstring problems, right? Like, I would be leery of any percentage, especially 6,000%, of pushing him and allowing him to push the envelope too quickly. Now, that said, if he comes back, they have 4 games, then they have a bye. If they were to have him sit the 4 games and then after the bye week open up a practice window for him, I think that would be realistic. And then he practices for a few weeks, and maybe he plays the week of Halloween, and Tausch turns out to be right. Great. But again, I was saying that I expected him back in November. So if you're going to say by Halloween, I'm not sure that that's as accelerated a timeline. And so I think Tausch is looking at it through maybe a little bit more of an aggressive lens than I am, but not a lot.
You could, Willie, you could do the prices right, and you could say by Day of the Dead, and then you'd come in under him, but after him, but still before he comes back.
Dia de los Muertos. Come on now.
Hey,
now Pablo, help me out, because one of the movies the girls like is Encanto. Is that related to that?
No, you're thinking of Coco. Coco is related to Dia de los Muertos.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yep. Awesome movie.
Right.
Fantastic
movie. Thank you for your service.
Of course. I'm always here for you, Jason. I know, like I said, I'll call it the blunder to start things off. I'm here to help you, too.
Oh, that was definitely a blunder by me.
Now we're one-on-one. We'll figure out the tiebreaker at some point.
Hey, Willie, just one follow-up question on the Christian Watson situation. I'm just thinking about the dynamics, and far be it from either of us to be cynical about how things operate, but as you mentioned with Christian Watson in his contract year, so you've got the dynamic of an agent probably wanting to play both sides of the coin, Christian Watson playing both sides of the coin, Packers also making a decision of I'm going to take advantage of this guy while we still have him under contract. So talk me through where you see that breaking down. Who's going to be pushing the hardest, and why should the Packers hold back?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because I would say that the ulterior motive that the Packers, and I'm not saying they have this ulterior motive, but they could, is, hey, if we slow play him a little bit, and are extra cautious, and then he comes back and has a good impact, but not remember that stretch he had his rookie year where he had 7 touchdowns in 4 games?
Right.
And he was in a category that the only other player in league history who'd done what he had done was Randy Moss. If he has a stretch like that after he comes back, he's going to get paid, whether it's by the Packers or somebody else. But if he doesn't, and he has some contributions, and he proves that he's healthy, but he doesn't do a ton, there's the possibility that he's in kind of that no man's land contract-wise, and the Packers are able to sign him to a 1-year deal that is worth, I don't know, $8-10 million or whatever it might be, and then they have another year to make a decision on him and have more evidence on how they should feel about him. Because, look, I am a big Christian Watson guy. I'm fascinated, honestly, by his dynamic with his dad, because I'm always intrigued by fathers and sons. I think it's a really interesting thing, especially for those of us that maybe it wasn't so great. But with him, he's almost a polar opposite of his dad. His dad, obviously has those strong opinions he shares on Twitter, and when they drafted Matthew Golden, he obviously reacted very publicly, I think, on a podcast. And I just love everything that Christian Watson's about. He's the type of teammate. He's the type of worker. He certainly is a fantastic athlete, and he's talented. But he handles adversity head on. Remember his first game in the NFL? He drops that first pass of the game at U.S. Bank Stadium against the Vikings. And you don't want to drop that pass anytime. You certainly don't want it in your first NFL play after you didn't play at all in the preseason, and when Aaron Rodgers is throwing it to you, because Aaron handled it very supportively on the field and was I totally understand. It's okay. Not at all. That's not how he operates. But I like everything. I like everything
Felt
about
a little jab
him.
there.
A little bit. Interesting to use the word jab, by the way.
He's a complicated fella.
I like everything.
Nice pull.
I like everything about him, but if we're being honest, he does have a pretty checkered injury history. And look, let's also look at the fact that, think about how this happened. Okay, Romeo Doubs, who he was the only one to stand up for publicly when he no-showed at work earlier in the season, decides that he's too sick to play. He had an illness for the last game of the regular season against the Bears. And Christian Watson, who had suffered a right knee injury the previous week and was not expected to play, they now have an open game day roster spot, and they play Watson. So if Dobbs doesn't get sick, Watson doesn't even play. And I'll be honest with you, if it's me in a game that's probably not impacting the playoff rankings, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't want Christian Watson out there, but he wanted to be out there. And then in a game that he shouldn't have been playing in the beginning, now tears his ACL and faces this. So, I think there's this. Obviously, he's going to feel pressure from his family, from his dad, from his agent, from himself to get out there as soon as possible. But it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for the Packers if he doesn't.
Wrapping things up with Jason Wilde here. Again, you can hear him, Wilde and Tausch, weekdays 9 to noon on 100.5 ESPN. Totally forgot to tease this, by the way, too. Jason Wilde, Gabe Neitzel, and Alex Strofe will be taking over for the State of the Packers live from Summerfest right after the Saturday Scramble. So, Jason, want to leave you with this question that we've been asking our group here on the Saturday Scramble is, look, we know that the Bucs had a huge week. We know that they took swing after swing in free agency, landing Miles Turner. They had to waive Damian Lillard. All those things, and even going back to when they got Damian Lillard and tried to take a big swing to keep going and keep chasing after those championships. Our question that we're asking the crowd is, would you rather be in the Bucs situation or the Packers/Brewers situation where you're still making the playoffs, but you're not taking those big swings at the big names? More so from the Packers side, do you think that the Bucs moves that they made this week and even, over the last couple years, do you think that kind of resets some expectations or resets how the front office is thinking in terms of swinging to get a championship?
Well, I would say the aforementioned Aaron Rodgers would have loved for his general managers to have had the John Horst mentality of, we've got a transformational player in Rodgers and in Giannis. We have to take these big swings. And look, they took the big swing of making the trade to get Drew Holiday, which won them a championship. I know Sydney and I would love to see them reacquire Drew Holiday. I'm guessing they don't have a whole lot of actual use for him in Portland, but I'm not sure that's in the budget. But he's like, that was big swing number one, right? That acquisition. And it
sounded like we were starting to lose Jason a little bit.
Yeah, I wonder, he's currently on the way to Milwaukee right now, so I wonder if he hit a dead zone on the way down.
Good.
Oh, there he is. You back, Jason?
Is he back?
I am.
He's
Did
back.
I go through a dead zone?
Yeah, for a little bit.
Were you Plymouth?
What was right about there? Yes. What was the last thing I said that you heard?
We had something about you and Sydney saying that you would love for Drew Holiday. Yeah. Drew Holiday to come back.
So Drew Holiday was the first big swing, and it got him a championship. Damian Lillard was the second big swing, and it was not a base hit, right? Maybe they made contact, but, and Damian Lillard pointed this out, I think, in his post, that they were pretty good when the two of them were on the court together. It just didn't happen often enough. So that's big swing number two, and now waiving him and eating $113 million over the next 5 years. And spreading out that charge by stretching it and adding Miles Turner is the latest big swing. But I would say that Aaron Rodgers would have loved for the Packers to take these types of big swings, and they obviously didn't. The one time that I've been as surprised as I was that they were actually waiving Lillard and doing this with his contract was when the Packers signed Julius Peppers, and none of the NFL insiders knew anything about it at all. And we woke up on like a Saturday morning to a picture of Julius Peppers on social media inside of Lambeau Field, which I can't think of a Hall of Fame player who changed teams that no one knew about it until he actually announced it. So this was a pretty big stunner to me. But again, I don't know what it's gonna accomplish. They need a bunch of their young guys. This is going to sound a lot like the Packers, but they're going to need a lot of their young guys to play at a much higher level and elevate their games. And if they do, maybe Giannis is going to be happy and competing for a championship and staying here for good.
Jason Wilde, once again, you can hear him weekdays from 9 to noon on 100.5 ESPN on Wilde and Tausch. A little bit of vacation days sprinkled in, but if you stay tuned, past noon to 2, I believe, is when you'll hear him on State of the Packers alongside Gabe Neitzel and Alex Strofe live from Summerfest. Jason, thank you again for your time, man. Always a pleasure to have you. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, my friend.
All right, guys. Yeah, make sure you listen to the State of the Packers. It is 56 minutes away live from the Henry W. Meyer Summerfest grounds. All right, guys. Take care. Be good.
You love
Great
to
chat,
see
Wilde.
it. Thank you, Jason. Man, it's really interesting to think about that. I'm glad we ended up getting him towards the end. Julius Peppers.
Yeah.
Julius Peppers.
That was a nice pull.
That was a great pull. We
had Vonnie Holiday and Julius Peppers in the same conversation.
Man, oh man, what a time to be alive. And once again, Jason Wilde will be leading the State of the Packers alongside Gabe Neitzel and Alex Strofe. Looking forward to hearing that conversation here on 100.5 ESPN and across ESPN Wisconsin as a whole. We'll take a quick breather, recap the fee. We're a little bit behind. We'll talk about a little bit of that first hour and tease a little bit of that second coming up next on the Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN.
Stay tuned. Saturday Scramble continues after this on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Are you going to do something today?
Yes, I am.
And what exactly might that be?
My plan is to sit here and enjoy our amazing new patio set from Steinhoffel's.
Steinhoffel's 4th of July sale is going on now. Take 10% off store-wide, plus an extra $100 off every $999 you spend. But don't wait too long because this sale ends soon.
Now, would you be a sweetheart and get me another lemonade? I have to stay hydrated.
Steinhoffel's 4th of July sale, going on now.
Get ready for the ultimate Saturday night at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Join us for the all-new Queen of Hearts drawing at 4, 6, 8, and 10 p.m. This is your chance for royal glory. When your name is drawn, choose the right card and you could win a life-changing jackpot, up to $150,000. The longer the Queen stays hidden, the bigger the jackpot grows. Let's Hard Rock with the Queen of Hearts only at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
Celebrate the 4th with family, friends, and unbeatable appliance deals at Brothers Maine. Our fireworks of savings on top brands like Whirlpool, plus next day delivery, will make you ooh and ah. Visit us today and feel like family at Brothers Maine.
The sound of summer is on ESPN Madison.
The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Madison's home of the Brewers.
At the track at the wall, jumped up. Jackson Chario brought it back.
Catch every Milwaukee Brewers game this season on 100.5 ESPN.
And watching it sail, it's a grand slam.
Brewers baseball on ESPN Madison is presented by Hard Rock Casino Rockford and brought to you by Starion Bank and Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb. Madison's home of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Lops up top to Giannis. Whoa, what a play.
Wisconsin Badgers volleyball.
Underneath it, bump set, left side, powers it down. What a rally, and Wisconsin comes out on top.
And now, the Milwaukee Brewers.
Fly ball to center. It is way back, and it is gone.
This is Madison's new home of the Milwaukee Brewers, 100.5 ESPN.
Take your game to the next level with Vortex Golf. This employee-owned brand out of Wisconsin brings you premium rangefinders like the Blade, Blade Slope, and the Anarch, packed with features like image stabilization, pin spotter mode, and rock-solid accuracy. Backed by a legendary no-questions-asked VIP lifetime warranty and unmatched customer service, Vortex has you covered. Ready to upgrade your gear? Visit maplehillgolf.com and search Vortex to see the full lineup. Vortex Golf, you can bet on it.
ESPN Madison is proud to partner with Mentoring Positives for our 3rd annual ESPN Madison Open. Mentoring Positives is a nonprofit based right here in Madison and is dedicated to uplifting youth and families through mentoring, athletics, and youth entrepreneurship. As a trusted presence in the community, Mentoring Positives has been helping young people build confidence, leadership, and purpose for 20 years. They're changing lives right here in our community. Visit mentoringpositives.org to make your impact today. That's mentoringpositives.org.
Are you going to do something today?
Yes, I am.
And what exactly might that be?
My plan is to sit here and enjoy our amazing new patio set from Steinhoffel's.
Steinhoffel's 4th of July sale is going on now. Take 10% off store-wide, plus an extra $100 off every $999 you spend. But don't wait too long because this sale ends soon.
Now, would you be a sweetheart and get me another lemonade? I have to stay hydrated.
Steinhoffel's 4th of July sale, going on now.
All day, every day, the Carbless talk and text line is open for you.
844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text Line. This is more.
You're listening to Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
We need Kids in America next. We need something like that if we're going to continue this trend here. Pablo Iglesias, Adam Mertz, live at the Everlight Solar Studio. This is Saturday Scramble. Thank you to Jason Wilde, too, for joining us in the last segment. You can hear him from noon to 2 as well on State of the Packers, live from Summerfest alongside Alex Strofe and Gabe Neitzel here on 100.5 ESPN. Quick takeaway, though, from the first hour. What a packed hour we've had, too. But I loved, again, Julius Peppers. What a pull. What a pull on that one. I didn't know that was his whole process, too, was that he was a real quiet guy. And, yeah, I mean, when you do think of guys who made that immediate impact, Hall of Famer, all those things, Julius Peppers, when he came to the Packers, he even said, too, in his Hall of Fame speech at Canton that he loved being a Green Bay Packer. He loved Titletown. He loved the green and gold. He loved the whole culture behind it.
Yeah, amazing pickup. And I love, in Willie and I are contemporaries, as everyone was hearing there, the amount of knowledge that you accrue and perspective that you accrue when you've covered a franchise for that long and have that many relationships. I love how he can just pull something out of the mental vault on short notice like that. That was impressive.
Impressive for sure. Well, we will wrap up a little bit for the 10 o'clock hour. It's 11:11. Make a wish. We will be back. This is the Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN.
The GRB Academy is baseball for the serious player. GRB Academy wants to be part of your plan to reach your potential. Utilize GRB Academy's 52,000 square foot facility, 14 batting cages, and 6,000 square foot weight room. Personal lessons at the GRB Baseball Academy are available year-round. With over 300 college players and over 150 Division I players, GRB has consistently led the way in the Midwest for college recruitment and player development. Visit their website, grbacademy.com, for more information. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
Greg Scalzo here for Buck and Honeys. Congratulations to the perennial Best of Madison Award winner by the folks at Madison Magazine. Meet me at Buck and Honeys to celebrate Wisconsin hospitality. Whether you're enjoying the view on the Yahara River in Monona, exploring Wanakee, visiting the OG in Sun Prairie, or checking out the new location in Mount Horeb, you can enjoy the Buck and Honeys experience in a neighborhood near you. Serving lunch and dinner 7 days a week with brunch every Saturday and Sunday. I'll see you at Buck and Honeys.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They treated me like family.
They're actually people that you can depend on. They made me feel seen. They really treated me like I was a part of their family, a part of their team.
They ask how you're doing, how you're feeling.
They're just so welcoming and so sweet and kind.
It's like family, caring about another member of the family.
If you've been injured, it costs you nothing to see if Gruber Law Offices can help.
Summer is here, and your taste buds deserve the best. Carbless is perfect for the pool, the lake, or hanging out by the fire. Full of flavor with zero sugars, only 100 calories, and made with premium spirits. Don't just settle for something overly carbonated and those flavorless seltzers. Carbless has full flavor with every sip, not just a hint. So when you're ready to take a drink and ready to chill, Carbless is clean, crisp, and won't leave you feeling bloated. Find your bliss today at drinkcarbless.com.
This is Monte Ball.
Monte steps to the right, dashes, reaches, touchdown.
You listen to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
It's time to think outside the pocket on Saturday Scramble.
I think the Bucks signed their souls away or something.
I look at the Bucks as Augustus Gloop.
Probably really smart, actually, because I write such long.
Yes! Clip that, Riley. Jason said that I'm smart.
I go to the gym to fight people.
That's awesome.
On 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the Saturday Scramble. Pablo Iglesias alongside Adam Mertz here at the ESPN Madison Everlight Solar Studio. Beautiful Saturday, too. Although I think the storms might be rolling in. We're not going to give you weather on the ones, don't you worry. But we could try. Hopefully, yeah, you're out there enjoying your long 4th of July weekend. Riley Yelk also behind the glass. We talked a lot about more of the Bucks side in the first hour of how to handle business. But let's move into the Packers side, because I do wholeheartedly believe that based off of how the Bucks operated. It's not a perfect situation. It is, to quote Jim Rutledge earlier this week as well, is that it is a Hail Mary season for the Milwaukee Bucks. So no, you don't want to operate in a fight or flight continuously. But the bigger picture that I see from the Milwaukee Bucks is at least they're swinging for all-stars. They're swinging for big team. They're swinging in order to make their superstar happy and keep him here. I don't necessarily believe that Jordan Love is trying to knock on the door and run out of Green Bay as soon as possible. It's a case-by-case situation. Mertz, I know that you said this here too, and also want to hear from everybody out there. 844-770-3776, the Carbless Talking text line. List is more. Again, applying pressure for the Green Bay Packers, and more so thinking about what steps do they need to take in order to really get to that Lombardi trophy. Because let's be honest, I know that everyone's like, they're one player away from a Super Bowl, but it still felt like that they were one player away maybe from trying to edge out a win against Philadelphia, the eventual Super Bowl champions, in round one. So I still think that there are a couple steps at least in terms of getting some players, preparing for the future, and what we can do, or what the Packers can do to really build themselves up for, I guess if we talk about a win-now window, how are the Packers going to do that? How are they going to step up and really take advantage of that win-now window?
Yeah, and I appreciate the chess game that general managers play in terms of trying to build a roster and meet a moment and have that window in mind, and here's what has to happen to get us there. NFL is really interesting to me in terms of how much you can rebuild in any given season. Also, I think you have that flexibility that you don't have in the other sports, but you still have to have that big picture mentality. And where I feel really good about what Gutekunst has done is building this core of young talent that you have a pool of a lot of competition. You can wait and see how that plays out and see who you want to stake yourself to. But at a certain point, you have to kind of commit to that core that you're going to run with, and then start building around that and start accelerating toward a goal. And it does make me wonder, you're getting into Jordan Love, like mid-career. Is the next 2, 3, 4 years that window? I would say yes, if you're going to be committed to Jordan Love, that you want to start maintaining and building around some of these guys that you've been trying out essentially from this young core.
This is a great opportunity, too, for Ed Policy, the incoming new president for the Green Bay Packers, to maybe, I don't want to say right or wrong. It's more of like being more aggressive and taking advantage of that window, taking advantage of that opportunity. Just seeing here a quote from Mark Murphy, because this is the transitional period now. We'll also have State of the Packers coming up again here on 100.5 ESPN just after our show, noon to 2 with Alex Strofe, Gabe Neitzel, and Jason Wilde, who you heard earlier in the show. Maybe we'll hear from the guys later on. Let's see. But Mark Murphy, as I'm reading here in a quote on CBS Sports, at the end of my tenure, not being able to win a Super Bowl with Brian Gutekunst and Matt LaFleur was a big regret, especially considering how close we were in a couple of those years. So is this a good opportunity for Ed Policy to take advantage of that window, to really utilize and push and push and push? Not saying that Mark Murphy didn't push, but did he? Even he said it too, as a reflection of, I wish I did more. I wish I pushed more. And I'm curious to know, is Ed Policy, because Jason Wilde even said it a while back from the conversations that he had one-on-one with Ed Policy, is that he does not like lame duck years. He wants results. So is this going to be a potential opportunity for the Packers to, I don't want to say John Horst aggressive, but a much more aggressive approach for the Green Bay Packers moving forward? So
this is a great point about Ed coming in, and a lot of people remember that he's the son of Carmen Policy, who won 5 Super Bowls with the 49ers. Is the guy who went after it, made sure that they had a very stable franchise that they could build around, but came back in a couple of incarnations of that team to win multiple Super Bowls. So it's a guy that, if you're looking at the lineage, knows how to win, has that commitment to winning. I think if there's a rip on Mark Murphy, it's that he was too passive almost, and that's been the tradition of the Packers president, because it's not the same as having a Jerry Jones who goes in there and just does things unilaterally. I think that Mark stepped that up a lot. I also feel like if you're going back, like he was too tentative on getting rid of Mike McCarthy earlier. too tentative on where Ted Thompson was at from frankly, a health standpoint. And then that probably maybe a little bit distracted on Titletown and building up some of the financial foundation to keep the Packers competitive. Like, very good things, but there's only so much that you can pay attention to at a certain point in time. So I appreciate that he came forward with that admission and was like, hey, maybe I should have pushed a little bit harder.
It's a lot of pride to just step back and say, like, I wish we did more.
Absolutely.
But he does also, if you read it too on Packers.com, a 5-questionnaire from fans. Here's the question that was put out to him too. What the hell are you doing, or actually not? Are you serious about Super Bowl possibilities? Sean F. from Green Bay, this is who submitted that question on Packers.com. Got rid of Alexander. Now Jalen Ramsey just got traded to the Steelers. And by the way, he's better than anyone on our roster in the quarter.
Dang.
My gosh. This guy
What
was
the hell is going on out there?
That doesn't look like you're serious about Super Bowl appearances. And clap back in only 3 sentences, I believe. Yes, 1, 2, 3. Actually, 2 sentences. Yes, Tim, I am serious about Super Bowl possibilities. We have a young team, parentheses, 2 years in a row, the youngest team in the league with 2 playoff appearances, end parentheses, that is well coached and should make significant progress this year. Nice little rebuttal there, but
Get the F off of our field.
that was the cringiest thing like ever.
It was a weird schedule release video.
It was a weird release. I
love those liners though.
They are. That is the legacy that he will forever have here on ESPN Madison. Is that Mark Murphy will forever be he will have 2 hotkeys, forever and always. But I feel like you gotta. It's one way or the other. You have this young team, yes, but you do need to filter it with some strong names in this too, because you can't keep everybody. Somebody's going to blow up and need that big payday. I think you almost thought it was going to be Jaden Reed for the wide receiver room, and all of a sudden he had a little bit of a fall off, and I think I do expect a big jump from him this season. But, that room's not getting any smaller either. I believe right now they still have 9 rostered wide receivers in that room, so you're going to have to come into a situation where somebody's going to want a payday, somebody's going to want to come in and ask for some money there, but yeah, that's just where I feel like, too. Also want to know what everybody believes, too, the state of the current Green Bay Packers. 844-770-3776, the Carbless Talking text line. Where do you think the Packers stand right now? Do you think that they are legitimate Super Bowl contenders? What are they missing? Let us know here on the Carbless Talking text line and also the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Yeah, Pablo, on your previous point that you just made, I want to ask you guys, you're talking about commitment. The Packers have a lot of young guys. They're going to need to start picking these dudes to sign to longer-term deals. Prediction from one guy from each of you. At the end of this season, who do you believe the Green Bay Packers will extend a longer-term deal to? Let's take Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, Xavier McKinney off the table. Those guys have deals. Anyone else? Who's going to be one guy that the Packers give a deal to at the end of this season?
Based off the vibe that I'm getting Tucker Kraft. Getting to chat with them too one-on-one over at the Packers tailgate. You could feel that, not even just from him, but just the conversations that you have with the Packers alumni, in general, even Jason Wilde, I believe, also touched on it a little bit too. But there's that feeling that Tucker Kraft is going to make just a massive leap. I know that Luke Musgrave...
A quantum leap, you could say.
Yes, a quantum leap, sure. But you could sense that there's a hunger there. There's an attitude, not change, but more of like he's owning his voice very early. He's not afraid to call out guys in that locker room when it's don't accept the status quo. So I feel like that Tucker Kraft has to be the guy. I'll put it out there. I think he can make a Travis Kelce type of leap. I think he could be that type of impact player for the Green Bay Packers and across the league too. I think I don't know if he'll lead the team in receptions, but I could see him being, no question, top 3. Travis Kelce-esque type of impact is what I can see from Tucker Kraft.
Mertz?
Man, this is a tough one. I was kind of scouring through the roster again, too, to think about some of these picks.
Glad I helped you buy some time.
No, it didn't help because you picked a guy that would have appealed to me. I'm having a hard time, I think, illustrating your case about the number of receivers in the locker room. That's where my mind went to right away about who do you want to lock in, who do you want to have as your confirmed target. There is so little separation between all of those guys that I really feel like this year, you read how they develop this year, read how they perform this year, and then you have to figure out a little bit in the offense of what player is going to fit the best into that scheme and play it best into Love, play best into a Tucker Kraft, into Musgrave, as we talked about a little bit more of the 2 tight end sets. Who's the most complementary out of that group? I don't have a great choice after Kraft.
Interesting.
I really like where you're headed with that one. I just think that tight ends are so valuable in the league of someone who can stretch the field down the seam. I'm not gonna. I hate doubling up with you on this, but I don't have another one just off the top of my head that yes, I want to put my cash on.
So we're calling Tucker Kraft breakout season is what I'm believing here.
And it also sounds like there's very little confidence in those veteran receivers for one of them to separate.
Correct. They've been. You'll get a guy that gives you a couple of games here or there, and you're like, oh, I like what I'm seeing there. I think about like Dobbs and Wicks. Those are the guys where I've seen some flashes and been like, I really like what they bring to the table, but there haven't been the consistency to it.
I want to talk about this on the other side too. We'll take a quick break. I think about the 3 names that the veteran wide receivers, who those 3 names are, and where we think we want to power rank them heading into this Green Bay Packers season. We'll talk about that. Pablo Iglesias, Adam Mertz, Riley Yauch behind the glass here at the Everlight Solar Studio. This is the Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN.
Stay tuned. Saturday Scramble continues after this on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Summer is here, and there's no better way to celebrate than with Door County Distillery. Hey, it's Alex Stroh. I've been telling you for years how great Door County Distillery is. Locally produced, handcrafted, and award-winning spirits made locally in beautiful Door County. The sun is shining, and so can the Rock Island Rum from Door County Distillery in your summertime cocktail. Otherwise, vodkas, gins, whiskeys, brandies, and more, it's all available from the award-winning Door County Distillery. Find a huge list of unique cocktail recipes and the retailer nearest you, DoorCountyDistillery.com. That's DoorCountyDistillery.com.
This fall, there's only one place to be, Camp Randall Stadium. Wisconsin football returns with can't-miss matchups, including Maryland, Iowa, Washington, and more. From the first touchdown to jump around and the celebration of the 5th quarter. Experience the traditions and unforgettable memories that make Wisconsin football so special. Single-game tickets are now on sale. Lock in your spot today by visiting uwbadgers.com or call 1-800-GO-BADGERS. Wisconsin football game day starts here. We'll see you at Camp Randall.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hold your friends close and your rivals closer on Jim, Matt, and Molly.
Horst, he's going down swinging for home runs. Goody, selling out for the walk. His moves are mistakes after the fact when you say we could have done more. Horst's moves, no one's going to say you could have done more. They're just going to say you did the wrong move. You struck out.
Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. Weekdays 4 to 6 on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
This update sponsored by UW Credit Union. For every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you. Fans, here is the Quick Trip to the Ballpark ticket offer. Spend $200 at participating Quick Trip locations and get a free Terrace Reserve ticket to a 2025 Milwaukee Brewers home game. Check brewers.com/quicktrip for more details. Join UW Credit Union at uwcu.org. Insured by NCUA.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. American Family Insurance can help protect your dream home for whatever comes next. You can live in your own oasis or your own clubhouse. Whatever you choose, get the right coverage. Save up to 23% by bundling home and auto. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This fall, there's only one place to be, Camp Randall Stadium. Wisconsin football returns with can't-miss matchups, including Maryland, Iowa, Washington, and more. From the first touchdown to jump around and the celebration of the 5th quarter. Experience the traditions and unforgettable memories that make Wisconsin football so special. Single game tickets are now on sale. Lock in your spot today by visiting uwbadgers.com or call 1-800-GO-BADGERS. Wisconsin football game day starts here. We'll see you at Camp Randall.
Gear up for Quick Trip's Mountain Dew Quick Climb. Now through August 17th. Play free daily in the Quick Rewards app and earn bonus plays with every eligible purchase. Grab one with hot food. That's 2 bonus plays. Each week, the cash prize climbs by $5,000, all the way to a $250,000 grand prize. So open the app and get climbing. Your summer, your climb, your win. No purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents residing in Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, Michigan, South Dakota, North Dakota, or Wisconsin. Ends August 17th. Bonus plays require qualifying purchase. See full rules at quicktrip.com/sweepstakes.
You're listening to Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
The Saturday Scramble continues here on 100.5 ESPN. Pablo Iglesias here with Adam Mertz live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison. Listen, we are just trying to, we have quite the packed half hour remaining here before we get into State of the Packers. We will actually get a little crosstalk action, a little teaser there, I believe, with our State of the Packers crew, Alex Strofe, Gabe Neitzel, and Jason Wilde. Looking here at the ESPN Madison YouTube channel, Travis Nelson adding on to our conversation here. The Milwaukee Bucks are like the Rams, Eagles, Buccaneers, going all in to win. The Packers play for 10-7 every year to hold on to their jobs. Really interesting point there. And that the question that I teased going into this is, I have 3 receivers that we talked about from the veteran room who are, in terms of, I give you guys these 3 names, who do you think has the highest expectation in terms of keeping their job, get a payday, whatever the case is? So we look at the veteran receivers: Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, and Jaden Reed. Mertz, if I were to ask you to power rank these as we get the music rolling, who do you think needs to have the biggest season out of those 3, or just start power ranking them? Go. Who's at 3?
most to prove. I've got Doubs.
Doubs is number 1.
Doubs number 1.
Doubs number 1. Okay.
Reed 2, Christian Watson 3.
Okay, so we go Doubs,
Reed,
Watson.
And I'm saying Watson just because of the injury status. I feel like you kind of know what's there if he's going to be healthy, and you're not going to be able to make a full grade based on what he does this year.
That is fair. Even based off of what Mark Tauscher thinks, like Halloween, like if he's back, that's awesome. Trick or treat. That would be there we go. See, I think we're coming up with something. I think if anything, I would believe that Jaden Reed, I'd go with him over number 1. The reason why I think Romeo Doubs still needs to have a big season, but he needs to have a big season to prove to other teams why he could be like a versatile, because unfortunately I don't think Romeo Doubs is going to be a number 1 in this room. You get Matthew Golden in, and even Savion Williams too, the 2 guys that the Packers drafted. I think that's just going to be tough for Romeo Doubs to really shine in the way that he typically shines. So I think if anything, it's number 2 for him, because he needs to have a big year, don't get me wrong, but he needs to have a big year to prove to other teams and the Packers why he could be a valuable trade asset and get a bag somewhere else. So yeah, that's where I feel like Mertz from top to bottom again. He's going Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, and then Christian Watson. I'm flip-flopping. I'm going Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, and Christian Watson as well. So that is our quick rankings, but on the other side, we're ranking even more. We're doing some reaction, a little bit of a soft launch. We are going to the ChatGPT world and going back and forth, continuing the Mount Rushmore conversation and just some Badger talk, something that Mertz loves to talk about. You also hear him on ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day. Hopefully you never know, maybe you can make it on the national stage too. That'd be awesome. But Mertz, big Badger guy, we always love to talk with him. So we're doing a little bit, launching something new. P versus ChatGPT. We are comparing and contrasting my Wisconsin Mount Rushmore versus AI. We'll see how that goes. Next on the Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN.
Stay tuned. Saturday Scramble continues after this on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
GRB Academy is baseball for the serious player. Over the past 15 years, GRB has been Wisconsin's top destination for player development and advancement, including over 468 college commitments and 27 MLB draft picks. Their facility in Windsor is the home of GRB Rays baseball and features over 52,000 square feet of elite baseball training. Tryouts for the 2026 summer season begin July 22nd. Find full training programs and register now at grbacademy.com.
Celebrate the 4th with family, friends, and unbeatable appliance deals at Brothers Maine. Our fireworks of savings on top brands like Whirlpool, plus next day delivery, will make you ooh and ah. Visit us today and feel like family at Brothers Maine.
Get ready to say goodbye to those bland seltzers at the ballpark. Carbless is proudly Wisconsin-born, crafted by real people. A husband and wife team who wanted better cocktails in a can. They're locally made and blissfully better. Carbless offers a bold, true cocktail flavor that's made for baseball fans. Available in fan-favorite flavors like lemon lime, black raspberry, cranberry, and mango, bringing the craft cocktail bar to your seat. Refreshment that matches the energy of American Family Field is Carbless. Full of flavor, no sugar, and no carbs. Just game day bliss.
The Bucky Badger Student Mascot Fund was created to support the amazing student athletes who bring the best mascot in the world to life. Hey, my name is Stacy Bruner. I was Bucky Badger from 2010 to 2014. My most memorable sports moment was running out the flag at the 2013 Rose Bowl versus Stanford. Your donation will help fund new scholarships to ensure that the rich tradition of Bucky lives on. Learn more at supportbucky.org. That's supportbucky.org.
Join me, Gwen Mahoney, your 2025 Dane County Fairest of the Fair at the Dane County Fair at the Align Energy Center July 17th through the 20th. There are daily activities and entertainment including stunt, dinosaur, and magic shows, tractor and carnival rides, animals, and more. The Dane County Fair is fun for all ages. We'd like to thank our Supreme Grand Champion sponsor, Miller & Son Supermarket, and our Grand Champion sponsors, Blaine's Farm and Fleet and Everlight Solar. I hope to see you there July 17th through the 20th. For more information, visit DaneCountyFair.com.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how to save money and save the planet. It's simple. Ditch your energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar. While electricity prices keep rising, Everlight Solar will give you the chance to take ownership of your power while also reducing your carbon footprint. As a local company based out of Madison, they'll be there with you every step of the way as you make the switch to solar. To learn more about how you can save money and save the planet, go to everlightsolar.com.
When you've been injured, you need a winning team on your side. Gruber Law Offices will fight for the results you deserve. Call Gruber Law Offices today, a proud partner of your Milwaukee Brewers. One call, that's all.
You're listening to Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
There was only one night game, and it was the 4th of July. And we felt like we really played our best. And we really did, because it felt like that we were under the lights of some big stadium. For us, baseball was a game. But for Benjamin Rodriguez, baseball was life. Oh, man, that gives me chills every time I hear that song. And that's what I was just watching The Sandlot last night, too. That is like
No
peak.
way. All right.
That is just peak for me. Like, it feels like a soon-to-be eventual 4th of July, like tradition that I need to do is just watch the Sandlot, because that movie always just makes me feel like a kid. By far, best sports movie ever made.
Ooh.
That's my take.
Wow.
That's just, it's the perfect coming of age. It's nostalgia. It's lighthearted. It's fun. It makes you feel like a kid. It has this iconic scene. That is me.
I was thinking about the swimming pool scene, too.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Wendy Peppercorn. Heartthrob. And we don't know what, Squints has always told us that she looked back and winked at him.
Yep.
That's it. I don't know, whatever that line
Yep.
was. But all right. I could go into the Sandlot forever, and I could riff off the top movies of all time in sports. But we might have to save that for another week as we launch another list-by-list comparison. This is P versus ChatGPT, and we are jumping in. Yeah, I don't know. We got a bump. We got some college football music going. So we were asking ChatGPT and comparing it to my list. They talked about it on Wilde and Tausch on Friday, or Thursday. I'm getting my days mixed up just because the holiday weekend. On Thursday, Wisconsin Badger football. Who is on your Mount Rushmore? So we have put the prompt up for ChatGPT. Riley Yauk is taking care of that, and I put together my list. So I will reveal my list first. We will see what ChatGPT has to say. And Adam Mertz and Riley Yauk, you two are deciding together which list is stronger. So first off, I'm going to go off the quarterback. Yes, he's got some strange problems in the NFL, but he has a Super Bowl behind his name. And he also was very successful with the Wisconsin Badgers coming in from North Carolina State. I'm putting Russell Wilson. You got to put Russ because he changed the quarterback standard for the Wisconsin Badgers. I think he brought in something new. And ever since then, people have wanted to see a dynamic, flashy quarterback since Russ. So I will put
Russ. I think
Russ.
Changing the standard might be debatable.
Well, that's we'll see what ChatGPT has to say.
Creating unreasonable expectations?
Yes. That, I think, is a much better turn of phrase. Continue, Pablo.
Of course. We're going to go two running backs here. The first one, I'm going to go Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor, man, what an absolute tank he was. Also just great person, too. Love getting to chat with him whenever he's back in Madison. But what Jonathan Taylor did as a Wisconsin running back, he was also not just like a hard running back that was fast, that was electric, but he was also a great pass catcher, too. Think about all the moments, too, that he had. I believe it was a hat trick or even more at Purdue to win in overtime. That was that was a beautiful moment for J-Tay. And the second running back I got to put on there, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Ron Dayne. How are you not putting Ron Dayne up on your Mount Rushmore of Wisconsin Badger football? And finally, last but not least, the walk-on sensation. Come on now. You got to think about Mr. J.J. Watt to round out the Mount Rushmore, Pablo Iglesias' Mount Rushmore of Wisconsin Badger football. Clearly a better list than ChatGPT, I think. So do we want to let's reveal ChatGPT and what they said?
We'll have to see. Mertz, we'll decide which is better. They're very similar. I threw the prompt into ChatGPT with who is on your Wisconsin football Mount Rushmore. They started also with the Great Dane, Ron Dayne. They gave little like titles for each of them. Ron Dayne, the legend.
I love it.
They also have.
I got to step up my game then for the next few weeks for this.
J.J. Watt, the disruptor.
I love this. I love this.
Jonathan Taylor as well.
Oh, boy.
The Machine, which I don't know where they come up with these nicknames. I think the Legend, Disruptor work. I don't know the Machine for JT.
The Machine.
See. But the only difference, Pablo had Russell Wilson. ChatGPT had Joe Thomas as their final member, the foundation.
Yeah.
I can't believe I forgot Joe. He's a friend. He's a friend of ESPN Madison. So I have, if he has a bone to pick with me, sorry, Joe. That's right. I fumbled on that one. Oh, that's
so
tough.
Now our comparison essentially comes down to Joe Thomas versus Russell Wilson in the throngs of Badgers lore.
This is going to be a great segment.
Appears to already be admitting defeat to ChatGPT.
Maybe we should just have Pablo pick himself as the loser at this point.
The thing that's tough, too, it's ironically extremely comparable, too, is that Russell Wilson got Wisconsin to the Big Ten championship that season. I believe they lost still. Or no, they won. They won the Big Ten championship and beat Michigan State. And it was the Rose Bowl loss that was deflating.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This feels like, I feel exactly like that season. We win the Big Ten championship, and then we lose to Oregon in the granddaddy of all bowl games. So I'll take the L here. Joe over Russ.
Unanimous
I
All-American.
thought it was so close.
Consensus
on the first
Pro
try?
Football Hall of Famer. That 3 out of the 4 being the same, I think, is pretty solid. I will say, ChatGPT in their top 5, they had some honorable mentions. Russell Wilson was the first member off the Mount Rushmore.
What is it? Wow, there's the first 4 in for the playoff of the original format.
Yeah.
What is it?
The first members out, the first 2 out
First
for
2 out.
ChatGPT were Russell Wilson and Alan Amici.
Ooh.
Yeah,
okay.
interesting that they went old school.
Yeah.
I was curious about that.
So, some other honorable mentions from ChatGPT: Monte Ball, Chris
yeah.
Borland, Troy Vincent, and Jim Leonard.
Fair enough. Those are some good honorable mentions. A good secondary Mount Rushmore. That's like probably one you'd put up at the Dells with like the upside down White House too. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Well, we'll move across the state too. We've got some friends waiting for us in Milwaukee. Alex Strofe, Gabe Neitzel, and Jason Wilde getting ready for State of the Packers. We should have some cross-talk coming up with them as we try it out. P versus ChatGPT. Thought I had a good shot.
Congratulations to ChatGPT, our first winner.
Man, oh man, that's a tough L. That's a tough L.
I love that you had that synchronicity though with the 3 picks because I would have gone a little bit different direction.
I'm pretty locked in apparently with AI, so I like it.
I'm going to keep track of score. GPT up 1-0 on Pablo right now.
This is tough. This is tough. Hey, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. And we are finishing off the show with, once again, our State of the Packers crew waiting for us over at Summerfest. Pablo Iglesias, Adam Mertz. This is the Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN.
Stay tuned. Saturday Scramble continues after this on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
Join me, Gwen Mahoney, your 2025 Dane County Fairest of the Fair at the Dane County Fair at the Align Energy Center July 17th through the 20th. There are daily activities and entertainment including stunt, dinosaur, and magic shows, tractor and carnival rides, animals, and more. The Dane County Fair is fun for all ages. We'd like to thank our Supreme Grand Champion sponsor, Miller & Son Supermarket, and our Grand Champion sponsors, Blaine's Farm and Fleet and Everlight Solar. I hope to see you there July 17th through the 20th. For more information, visit DaneCountyFair.com.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, Marcus and Chris are joined by Zach Harper of The Athletic. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Hi, I'm attorney David Gruber. After an accident, you need a trusted winning team on your side. For more than 30 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped Wisconsin families get the results they deserve. If you've been injured, call our firm today for a free consultation. We're available 24/7. Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Brewers. One call, that's all.
This is our crew.
The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Every pitch, every strike, every hit.
Fly ball right field. Hit a ton. We're tied.
Hear the call of every Milwaukee Brewers game this season on 100.5 ESPN.
Back at the track. Get up. Get up. Get out of here. Gone.
Madison's new home for Milwaukee Brewers baseball. 100.5 ESPN.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love, with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Madison's home of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Lots of top to Giannis. Oh, what a play!
Wisconsin Badgers volleyball.
Underneath it, bump set, left side, powers it down. What a rally! And Wisconsin comes out on top.
And now, the Milwaukee Brewers.
Fly ball to center. It is way back, and it is gone.
This is Madison's new home of the Milwaukee Brewers, 100.5 ESPN. You're listening to Saturday Scramble on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
I saw the light in a sunrise, sitting back in a 40 on the muddy riverside, getting baptized and
Wrapping things up here on the Saturday Scramble, Pablo Iglesias, Adam Mertz, live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison. We are joined as we get ready for State of the Packers. We've been teasing it. We heard from Jason Wilde earlier in the show. Thank you for his service, for jumping in. We are also now joined by Alex Strofe, Gabe Neitzel, and once again, Jason Wilde, who will be taking it over from noon to 2 for State of the Packers live from Summerfest. Gentlemen, how we doing on this Saturday morning?
Two things. Jason, do you do every show?
I do.
Yeah, you really do. So this is your second appearance on this program?
I love Saturday Scramble.
It is so much so that you've appeared 2 different times?
Favorite show, clearly. It is my second appearance of the day, which is great. But I love Saturday Scramble now because it allows me to be on the air 7 days a week.
Wow.
Because of Sunday Karma, Saturday Scramble. You know what? And look. I'm getting old. I just realized just how old because
what happened?
Jermichael Finley's son.
Oh, I saw that today.
Yes, committed to Notre Dame.
I saw that.
Oh man.
But I love what's great, and Mertz obviously is not one of our great young teammates, but Pablo
still an up and comer, I would argue.
Yeah, he's got a very bright future between now and when he turns 90. But and I'm in the same boat. We already established I'm slightly older than him. But I love that we've got so many young, up and coming, talented people on our team. Like there was a time where maybe we didn't have as deep of a bench, so to speak. And Gabe had to do all the shows.
He still does all the shows, I think.
And I was just about to say he still does that, but not quite as severely. So Pablo and I absolutely love the two knuckleheads in Beaver Dam, Walter and Corey.
Those are your guys.
I love going on their show. They make me feel like I'm way more important than I actually am. So I'm really excited that we've got today's show. I looked it up. 2006. Was the very first one with Bill Johnson and me from Summerfest. It begat Green and Gold Today, which, of course, begat Wilde and Tausch. So this is a very special show to me, and I'm glad that the Saturday Scramble team wanted to get us started a little bit early, but with a little crosstalk.
Strofe, what were you doing in 2006?
I was probably in first grade, second grade.
Okay, all right.
What were you? You were probably 15 years into your career at that point?
I was only 4 years.
Only 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years.
And you were what, 14 years old?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. We didn't have labor laws in Dodge County in the early 2000s. Fine.
And real quick, just a quick correction. We were on until 3. It's 12 to 3. 3-hour show today. We're not letting Jason go get
we've got way too much to say.
all of his free activations quite yet at 2. I think we're on until 2:30 though. On ESPN Madison because the Brewers game, I believe, pregame coverage starts at 2:30. So
I'm just here to hang out with you guys for as long as I can and get Major Goolsby's food hour on the hour.
Yes.
So
cheese curds hour
sandwich,
1,
Major cheeseburger, and then something else for hour 3.
I love that. See, I didn't see the Major Goolsby. I think it was on the ESPN Milwaukee Instagram channel. Man, I was like, I got to get out to Summerfest and go to, is it Major Goolsby, right? That's what it's called?
Yep.
So Goolsby's is an institution in downtown Milwaukee. And, I mean, they've been there forever. And, Sports Illustrated named them one of the top sports bars in America.
I think Fox News did, too, after the RNC
last year. Right?
Yeah, it's on their door now. Yeah.
However, as much as I love Goolsby's, for whatever reason, I don't know
what you're going to say.
It hits different at Summerfest.
Yes, it does.
It
Even
hits
better.
different. It somehow gets better here at
It's like a hot dog at the ballpark.
Yes.
I would just say
concept.
I've done every Saturday show at Summerfest for the last 4 years for a reason. I just throw that out there, and that reason is not because I love the airtime that much. Well, it might be actually.
It's the
but
Goolsbys.
it's also the Goolsbys.
Why not
two things
both?
can be true.
Love it, boys. Well, hey, we wanted to talk about, too, on the other side, as you guys lead into this conversation. Mark Murphy is moving on. Ed Policy is coming in. Mark Murphy was quoted saying that he regrets not taking advantage more of the window with Matt LaFleur and that era of trying to win a Super Bowl and trying to build more. We've talked about how the Bucs, are they resetting this expectation? Are they trying to, because of all the swings that they've been taking, getting Drew Holiday, getting that championship, didn't work out with Dame, and now what happens with Miles Turner? Do we believe that the expectations are resetting a little bit for the Green Bay Packers as Ed Policy moves in, and could he be more aggressive and get after some superstars to chase after the Lombardi? What do you guys think?
I highly doubt it. And look, I understand we're in year 7, 8 of the Brian Gutekunst.
7 of LaFleur, 8 of
Gutekunst.
Yep.
So we're in year 8 of Gutekunst. But realistically, the whole timeline was reset just 2 seasons ago. This is year 3 of the new branded
plan.
Packers of the plan. So 3 years into it, I can't imagine Brian Gutekunst is suddenly going to abandon that plan and start trying to aggressively pursue names that might be out there. Now, T.J. Watt, I've written that off. There's no way the Steelers actually let him leave. I mean, maybe Trey Hendrickson becomes available because the Bengals are dysfunctional.
Yeah, did you read his column this morning?
Hendrickson with
an
X.
With an X.
With an X.
The angry fan.
I
highly, highly, highly recommend for any Packers fan who hasn't already, go to Packers.com, read the final edition of Murphy Takes 5. It's an all-timer. I mean, those columns are the freaking best.
There's a guy who uses a word that we can't use right now on the air.
Several of them. Several of them, yes.
Correct. I mean, it's still never going to beat the one racist one that he once answered. That's still number 1 power rank to me of all the questions of all time that Mark Murphy responded to, and Murphy Takes 5. But I don't know. I'm going to miss Murphy Takes 5 because there's no way Ed Policy
there's
the same question.
There's not going to be policies, I don't think. Have you asked that question yet, Jason? Do you know if he's going to write a column monthly?
I did not. We had a sit-down with him. We spent about 45 minutes on the record, and then those who drink beer had some beers with him, and I drank water and ate a cookie, and we talked.
How's the cookie?
It was good.
What kind of cookie?
It was chocolate chip. I'm a big
nice.
chocolate chip guy. But we had a great conversation. I talked to Ed for a while about some of the opinions that I have as a former season ticket holder, or at least my grandparents starting that tradition, and owning a share of stock that I bought for my father. So we had some good conversations, but the column did not make the list. It was more about
maybe next time
and stuff.
I think that's a huge miss by you, and I'm being serious.
Let's let him take power in 20 days, right? That's 20 days from today is the shareholders meeting, and then we'll see if he's got a column on the first Saturday in August.
August 2nd. We don't have to wait long.
Hey, listen, guys, we won't have to wait long either. We got to wrap up over here in Madison, but we are excited to hand off the baton to State of the Packers. Alex Strofe, Gabe Neitzel, Jason Wilde, hanging out here at ESPN Madison until 2:30. That'll lead you into Brewers Rockies. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us on the Saturday Scramble. Thank you to our State of the Packers crew for jumping in. A little mini teaser. This has been the Saturday Scramble. Pablo Iglesias, Adam Mertz, Riley Yauk behind the glass. Thank you for joining us once again. State of the Packers is coming up next.
Get ready to unleash the dragon at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Introducing the region's very first $1 million Dragon Link slot games. With jackpots soaring to $1 million, your chance to hit it big